Mom sent a message. We no longer trust you. I respond, understood. 2 days later, their lawyer reached out to me in a panic. So my parents had this landscaping business they started about 6 years ago. Nothing crazy. Couple trucks, lawn equipment, some commercial contracts with apartment complexes. When they first launched it, I was 19 and my dad was like, hey, if we register this under your name, we can get that small business grant for young entrepreneurs. It was like $8 grand. I signed the paperwork. They said they'd transfer it to their names later once everything was set up properly. That never happened. For the next 5 years, I basically ran the back end of everything. I did the taxes, renewed the business licenses every year, handled payroll for the 3 guys they had working part-time. My younger brother Kyle was still in college, studying business or whatever, posting LinkedIn selfies with motivational quotes he definitely didn't write. Then Kyle graduated last year, and suddenly everything shifted. My parents started talking about him like he was the second coming. They brought him into the business, gave him this fake manager title, bought him polo shirts with the company logo. At family dinners, my dad would go on about Kyle's vision and leadership skills. Kyle hadn't done a single invoice. He just drove around in the truck taking pictures for the company Instagram. I didn't really care at first. I had my own apartment, my own life. But then Kyle started pushing for expensive stuff. New equipment, a bigger truck, some software subscription we didn't need. I kept saying no because the numbers didn't make sense. We weren't making enough to justify it. Kyle got mad. My parents backed him up every time. Then one Tuesday night, I got a text from my mom. Just one line. We no longer trust you. I stared at it for like a full minute. No explanation, no follow-up. I texted back. Understood. That was it. I didn't call. Didn't show up at their house. I just stopped responding to the group chat. 2 days later, my phone rang. Unknown number. I picked up and it was some lawyer named Greg. He sounded stressed. He said my parents had hired him to facilitate a business ownership transfer and that there were urgent matters we needed to discuss. I could hear my mom talking in the background, her voice all high-pitched and panicky. I asked Greg what the issue was. He cleared his throat and said, well, it appears the business is legally registered under your name and your parents are unable to access certain accounts or make changes without your authorization. I almost laughed. I said, yeah, that's correct. He paused. Then he asked if I'd be willing to sign some documents to transfer everything over. I told him I'd think about it and hung up. I didn't think about it. I called a lawyer myself, a real one. Her name was Vanessa, and she worked out of this tiny office above a chiropractor. I explained the whole situation. She looked over the business registration, the bank accounts, the LLC paperwork. Everything was in my name. Sole proprietor. My parents had zero legal claim. Vanessa asked me what I wanted to do. I said I wanted out. Completely. She filed for voluntary dissolution of the business. It took about a week. I sent notices to the clients, canceled the contracts, sold the trucks and equipment through an online auction. The business bank account had about $14,000 in it after everything cleared. Legally mine. Kyle called me screaming. Said I ruined his career. I reminded him he never had a career. Just a polo shirt. My dad left me a voicemail saying I was selfish and ungrateful. My mom sent a long email about how I was tearing the family apart. I blocked all of them. I used the money to start a small IT consulting thing. Just me, a laptop, and a couple clients I picked up through a freelance site. It's not huge, but it's mine. I work from a coffee shop most days. No family drama, no fake managers, no texts about trust. Greg the lawyer called me one more time, about a month later. He said my parents wanted to know if there was any way to undo what happened. I told him no. He sighed and said he understood. I never heard from him again. Kyle eventually got a job at a car dealership. My parents tried to start another business under their own names, but it didn't go anywhere. I haven't spoken to any of them in over a year.